Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video I'd like to look at a Forex chart. This is a chart of the euro against the US dollar, and would like to go through a brilliant example of what I call my Holy Grail trade setup. And the most amazing thing about this is if I bring this Word document into view here, just want to show you that this trade setup was actually sent in by one of our customers, and this is when he actually took his screenshot. So you can see he was actually in this trade setup, and he sent me the email with this in basically just after he got into the trade. And remember, he was looking for this target down here, and I'll show you to go through this. So great example of one of our customers coming in and learning how to do this and doing it on their very own account, and let's say showing that his analysis before the market even got to the target. So a great example of unfolding. So okay, the Holy Grail trade setup. The initial criteria is, first and foremost, we look for a major high at the start of a sequence. And now I'm looking at this high here. So to define a major high, I go to the large degree time frame. This is a 2-minute chart, by the way. If I go to the 15-minute chart and I scroll back a bit, let's put the DP on from the prior pivot up here. Scroll forward, and can you see how the market went up and hit this DP? So the market was at 15-minute resistance at this point in time. That defines that as being larger degree resistance. Therefore, what Michael did, and did this very well, and this is what we teach, is we look for the initial decline which unfolded here, and then he started aggressively looking for an ABC correction to unfold to then get short. And as you can see, the market has tanked down since then. So if I go back here and look at the chart here, remember this would have been our high here, our major 15-minute high. And I think also if I put the Elliott waves on, yes, also this was at a wave 5 high as well. So not only on a 15-minute chart, but on this shorter time frame chart we had a major high. Initial correction down. Zoom in a bit. This was what we consider a wave 1. We then aggressively look for an ABC correction, A, B, C, into what we consider a wave 2. If I now put the analysis on here, you can see this is our first target normally, and if I scroll out, you can see the market actually got down to this initial target quite nicely. But with the Holy Grail trade setup, we're not looking for the first target because we're not assuming this is a normal ABC correction. We're assuming this is actually a wave 2. So what we're looking for is the typical wave 3 WPT, which is down here. In other words, we're assuming that this is a high, wave 1 down, wave 2 up, we're then going to be followed by a strong wave 3 type decline. And this is exactly what Michael was showing here. If I bring his analysis back in, you can see here he was short up at the top here, come down, and this is where his target was, the typical wave 3 WPT down here. This was his target. So let's put the analysis on at that target in around our high there. So at the typical wave 3 WPT, slightly missed that, at the typical wave 3 WPT it was a potential 10R trade. So that's what we're gunning for. If I scroll forward, you can see the market declined absolutely beautifully. So I'll just put that analysis on again. So I dragged that with my mouse incorrectly. Sorry about that. There we go. So here we're assuming that we're going to get down to this target, and that's exactly what it did. Hit the target there for a plus 10.3R profit. So a great result there. And again, this is a superb example of what I call my Holy Grail trade setup. But the reason it was the reason we look for this again is, I'll just go through the criteria again, is we look for a major pivot. This is what starts our interest. The market coming off a major pivot. We then, which was this one here, again it's also at a wave 5 high, which is brilliant. Initial decline, we then aggressively look for an ABC correction into our wave 2. We then assume that the decline is going to be our wave 3. For standard traders, remember that this Holy Grail trade setup, in other words the sell setup here, will always be against a blue STF, because this always will be the first correction in a new trend, therefore it will always be against the blue STF, but these are where the best trades come in. If we scroll forward to how the market is unfolding live, you can see the market actually went a bit further down, and what traders could do is they could come down here and see the STF is strong. So if you were really aggressive and confident, you could have said, well, actually I'd want to trail on at least part of my position using the ATR stop because the STF was beyond its strength band, and come down to here and use our ATR stop. And again, the market's live at the moment, so this trade at the moment will be locking in plus 12.9R, so a great result. So either way, and a superb example of the Holy Grail trade setup, this time on a Forex chart, where again the criteria are we're looking for a major high, initial decline in this circumstance, the initial correction to unfold as a ABC, which it did into our TS3 automatic sell setup and MTPredictor. We then look for at least the typical wave 3 WPT. Then if desired, you can manage using the ATR stop if you're beyond the strength band. So that's the example on the Forex chart. The one that Michael looked at was actually on the 6E, which is this one, which is actually the futures of the Forex. So again, exactly the same setup here, and there we are managing with the ATR stop down there for about the same percentage return, or the same risk return. So either way, an absolutely great example, but all set up because we knew in advance of our 15-minute resistance on the euro. Then we looked for this wave 2, managed it as a strong wave 3 down, and here we are sitting on a potential profit of just over $5,000, all for a $400 risk. Again, this is using our position sizing in the software to keep our initial risk small and under control, which in risk unit terms is, well, just over a 12R risk at the moment using the ATR stop. So a great example of the Holy Grail trade setup, or the MTPredictor Holy Grail trade setup, this time on a Forex chart, which was the euro against the US dollar.